సరే వస్తాను ఈరోజు కొంచెం అంతే ఎంత టికెట్ వస్తా. Yeah, hi. Good morning to everyone. So let's start our session now. Okay, so yeah, so let's revise what we discussed yesterday's session for a few minutes, and then we'll see the next topic or maybe the topic of the day. Okay, so in yesterday's session, we mostly discussed about Java compilation and execution process. So what is the point of a compilation? What is the point of execution as part of our Java development? As a Java developer, when you are working for any application, when you are writing a Java program, so what is going to happen to see the output or to see the result of your logic? So in between writing the logic and getting the output, what are the steps we have to follow? Those are all details I discussed in the yesterday session. Okay. So that means once we are writing the Java development program, always, whenever we are writing the Java program, so as a Java developer, what we will do is we will write down this logic based on the requirements. You will write down the logic, whatever the requirement you are having, client requirement, business requirement. Based on that, you will start writing the logics. So you will write hundreds of Java files. You will write down multiple lines of the Java files. Okay, and then what you will do? It's not about directly you are going to execute the Java program and you will see the output. Whatever the logic you written by inside the .java file. So I told you already, C language will have .c file, Python language will have .py, CPP, C++ will have CPP, JavaScript will have .js, HTML will have .html. So like that, different technologies, different programming languages, different extensions. Similarly, Java also having .java extension. That is all we know that. And once we are writing the Java logic, what we have to do is in Java language, we have to go with the next step called as compilation. So to do what is the point of compilation here it is. So we will call it as Java compiler. So Java compiler will validate your code. Java compiler is going to validate your code. Validate in the sense what it will validate? It will validate each and every line, each and every word, whether you followed all the rules and regulations of Java language or not. So that means whatever the terminology you used, is it up to the mark of Java language rules and regulations or not? And whatever case sensitive point of view also. Java is a case sensitive. So what is the point of case sensitive? When you are saying like a language is a case sensitive, so that means what is the point of case sensitive here? It is a small a is not equal to capital A. So both are different. So in this case sensitive means small a is never equal to capital A. That is what the point of case sensitive here it is. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, that is what the case sensitive. If you written small c and capital C, both are different. That is how it will comes. So we will see that. Mouse product. Yeah. So once you are doing the compilation, or as part of the Java compiler, if it identified any errors, okay, any errors in your program, if you are making any mistakes, you are not followed anything, all the errors will be shown as a report to you. And then what you have to do? You have to fix those errors. You have to correct those errors. You have to make sure fixing all the errors. So you will get errors like this. If any mistake you are making, then based on that, you will get the errors and you have to fix all those errors. So once you are fixing an error, all the errors, I mean that means your program doesn't have any errors, then what will happen is the Java compiler internally what it is going to do is from your .java file by using your logic, it will generate a dot class file. It will generate always a file with an extension called as dot class. Dot class file in the sense a file will be created with the same class name whatever you given in the logic level, or generally I can sometimes it will become as a file name also. So it will create a class, it will create a class file. That means an extension will become dot class. So internally Java compiler is creating the dot class file when you are having zero errors. When you are having zero errors. If you are having more than one error, zero errors, that means dot class file will never ever create. So that is what the thing it will verify. So once you are having zero errors, that means your dot class file is not created. If you observe here for my information program, there is no dot class file. But once I fixed all the issues, then what Java compiler is doing in this case? Java compiler in this case not showing any errors. That means immediately it created a dot class file. If you observe here, immediately it created a dot class file. So in this case, Java C representing Java compiler. So from where this Java C is denoting or this Java C is coming is whenever you install the Java software, okay. So there is a in program files in Java that your Java software is installed. So inside that Java software, inside a folder, bin folder, here you will have guys, this is what Java exe, Java C dot exe. So yeah, sorry, this one, Java C dot exe. So this is the file is coming into the picture and taking your Java file, compiling, validating. If any errors are there, it is giving the errors. If there are no errors, then it is creating the dot class file. So this is what the responsibility of Java compiler. Now, once you are getting the dot class file is getting created, now you can start executing the program. So that means the real execution to see the output, to get the result, whatever for the logic, whatever you written. An input is always dot class file. An input is always dot class file. So your Java file is coming into the picture until a dot class file is created. But in the real environment of Java runtime environment level, to see the real output from based on your logic, to get the real result based on the logic, I mean, if your language, then it's always dot class is important. Dot class file is always important. So how now once you are getting the dot class file created by the Java compiler, then what you will do is you will invoke the Java runtime environment, JRE, Java runtime environment. So that means you will use again a command called as Java space file name. What is the file name? I told you here it is whatever the dot class file created, right? So that dot class file name you have to give here it is. So you should not give any extension. Okay, there is no extension for this. But even though we are not given any extension, it will always loads whenever you are using Java command. So it will always loads only dot class. It will always loads only dot class file. So because the dot class file internally the content will be called as bytecode. I already told you yesterday. So the dot class file content, I opened the content also. So the content whatever available inside the dot class will be called as bytecode. Java given a naming called as bytecode. So that bytecode is understandable by the Java runtime environment. So that's why you have to use a Java command and you have to give the file name. Then it will load always dot class file into memory level. In the CPU processor and when it comes to the RAM memory point of view also what Java runtime environment will do is it will take that dot class file, it will load into the memory and it will start executing the logic what you written from the bytecode point of view and finally you will see this kind of output. I mean this is what I expected output but this is how you will get the output. So that means to get your output you need always dot class file. To see your logic is executed, you need always dot class file. So as a Java developer, you will always write logic in the dot Java. If you want to add any changes to your program, you will always add to dot Java file. Whenever you making any changes to the dot Java file, you have to go again recompilation process. So that means again you have to generate fresh dot class file. So that then only the dot class file will contain internally your latest code changes converted to as a bytecode point of view. And that bytecode will be always understandable by the real Java runtime environment, or internally there is a component called as Java virtual machine also. So generally this will take care of entire execution process from the dot class file. That is called as Java virtual machine, memory management, memory allocation. So garbage collection point of view. There are so many concepts. You will come to know one by one by the time of core Java completion. Okay. So it will come one to one. So now this is what about the yesterday's concept what we discussed in our point of view. Okay, so dot Java file, dot class file, and then finally you'll get the output. Output is always comes from the result is always comes from the dot class file. So these are the use cases we discussed yesterday session, and let's see today's session what I'm going to discuss. So I have a small concept here. We have to discuss that. Even lot of interviews also people will ask you to test our understanding of Java advantages. So we are having, they used to say a lot of advantages like object oriented principles, like multi-threading, portable, security, robust, like that they will give different terminology. Those are all just like technical point of views, few things you can understand, and few things you can understand only after completion of other concepts. In the core Java, we have like object oriented principles, multi-threading. So if you are completing those things, then only you will understand the real advantages. So that means as part of those topics, you will get anyway what is multi-threading, what is object oriented principles and all. But before that, we have the most important feature called as Java is platform independent. So this will be asked by most of the interviews as a fresher point of view also, in especially in fresher point of view only. Java is platform independent language, or it will be called as Java is following a principle called as Vora. Vora means, shortcut point of view they are calling write once, run anywhere, run anywhere. So these two are representing same concept. Java is a platform independent language, and even Java language will be is considered as Vora. That means write once, run anywhere. Write once, run anywhere. So what is the point of Java platform independent language? What is the, that means there is one more concept available, platform dependency. Platform dependency. So that means there are some programming languages available. Those are all platform dependent. Dependency or dependent, whatever I can use, dependent. But Java is platform independent, and the same thing is associated to a principle called as, or a concept called as write once, run anywhere. So what is the point of platform dependent? What is the point of platform independent? Why Java language team or Java team is saying like write once, run anywhere? What is the meaning of write once, run anywhere? I'll just give you an overview, because we know now what is a compilation, what is a dot class file and all. So then you can understand this one easily. So let's take this into some time, and then we will see once this is completed, then we will see into the real Java programming topics. What is class, what is object. So these are all things I will start now. Once that is completed, I'll start class in Java, and then we will see what is object, why Java is object oriented programming language, like that. Now the things are starts with respect to programming point of. So with this is the last topic of Java introduction, but this is somewhat important. That's why I'm going through that. Otherwise, I will not go. Okay, so let's see what is Java platform independent. Okay, so here the point of why Java, whenever they introduced Java into market in 1995 time, they are promoted their Java language is the best language, and they are mainly promoted with one word called as platform independent language. What it is? So it's all about, they used to say like it's all platform independent language. So platform independent language. So what is the point of platform independent language? We'll see. Okay. So before that, I'll discuss a small thing about the C language. So by the time already C language is there, even C++ also there. Okay. So C++ also there, but especially C++ is somewhat object oriented programming language, but C is not object oriented programming language. C is a something like, there is a concept called as procedure oriented programming language, but is again object oriented programming language. Even Java is also object oriented programming language. So what is object oriented, you will understand in very few days. Okay, now when it comes to the C language point of view, C language is a platform dependency language. Platform dependent. Platform. Now I will come back. What is a platform also, I'll ask you. Okay. So platform dependent. C language is calling as platform dependent language. Now the point here it is, what is platform first of all? Dependency point of view, we know that it's a simple English language. But what is platform here? What is platform here it is? So it's the platform is nothing but, in this point of view, it's on about operating system. It's all about operating system plus hardware, whatever it is. I mean, you can call it as operating system. It's all about operating system. So what is platform in this case, in the sense operating system? So what are the operating systems we know? We are using in our computers Windows, and MacBooks will use Mac OS, Apple laptops. So Windows we are using right now, Windows 11 something like that, and similarly we will have Mac OS, and as well as few few computers we can run, on our computers we can run Linux operating system, like that, etc., etc. We have so many flavors of Linux operating system also generally. So these are the operating systems we are having in our day-to-day life. So these are all called as platforms with respect to, in this scenario, platform independent. So that means tomorrow when you write in the C language file, okay, that means I return some example, yeah, something like whatever it is, student.c. So this C representing C language file. So here you return all source code. So you return all the source code, here it is. Now in this case, what is going to happen here it is, you know that right now I discussed about the compiler. What compiler will do? Compiler will set in, okay, compiler will check each and every line of logic, whether you return properly or not, as per the rules of regulations, as per the language. It will verify each and everything. Similar point of view here also, what will happen is, when you are writing your C language, once you written the C language source code, when you are compiling on the Windows machine, so that means you written the Java program on the Windows system and you compiled on the Windows operating system. So you made compilation on Windows. So assume you created your C program on your Windows operating system, and you installed C language software, C software on Windows operating system. So that means then what you will have? C language compiler you will have. Similar to Java, C language software, C language software will have C language compiler. Now what it will do is, the compiler will verify all your source code. If everything is good, okay, sorry. Yeah, if everything is good, internal it will create a executable program. Okay, internal it will create a executable okay, once the compiler is completed, then internal it will make sure some executable is created to execute the program. So from this you will get the output. But here the problem is, whenever you want to execute same C Java program on other operating system, whatever you written, right? So what will happen in this case? If you want to execute again same student.c language Java into some other operating system called as Mac OS or whatever it is, Mac OS point of view, what is the problem here? It is you cannot execute your program directly, whatever the outcome you are having, you cannot execute directly on the Mac OS because Mac C language is designed like that. So C language point of view, if you want to execute same whatever the compiled version you are having, compiled version, you cannot execute on the Mac operating system because that is the C language is implemented when they created the. So again in this case what you have to do, you cannot run. You cannot run the same thing again on the Mac operating system point of view. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, in this case, what you have to do is the same C language file again you have to take into Mac OS, and what you have to do is you have to make some again recompilation process. But you cannot execute the whatever already done on the Windows operating system level, you cannot use that to see the output to get the result. What you have to do again, you have to take the source, and you have to recompilation, and then based on the Mac operating system, one more compiled unit, one more executable compiled point of view, it will be created. For example, there are some file operating systems, I mean some filing concepts available, DMG and all. Mac OS point of view, don't think too much about it. Now it will create output like this. From this you can see the output. So same output you are seeing from the same source code. Source code is same. But what is the problem here? It is when we are compiling on one operating system, when you are compiling on one operating system, it's not whatever the compiled version you are having, that is not ready to execute directly on any other operating system. So that means tomorrow if you are written on Windows and you are compiled on the Windows, so the compiled version you can execute only on Windows. So this will be executed again. You can take this executable on other computer which is having the Windows operating system. Now, if you want to execute the same compiled version on the Mac OS or in Linux OS operating system, then it will not work. So what you have to do in such case, it will not work on the Linux operating systems and Mac operating system. So in this case, what will happen? Now, for example, in this case, what is going to happen here? It is going to execute only on Mac OS level because you are having the version of compiled in the Mac operating system. So it will execute only Mac operating system, but not on the Windows. Windows as well as Linux. So that means what is the extra process you are doing is whatever the compiled version you are having, that will be executed only on that operating system. It will not execute it on other operating system. So you whenever you want to reuse the source code, I mean you want to reuse the logic, what you have to do is again you have to, for example, tomorrow your requirement is changing. Your program should run on Linux operating system. But you are having all this setup, all the compiled versions on the Windows. Then that means your C language, your code will not work on the Linux operating system. But what you have to do, again you have to come back to the actual source code level, and you have to recompile, you have to make sure recompilation on the Linux operating system. Linux operating system. So you have to do what? Recompilation of that logic. Then Linux, see in the Linux system level you installed already C language compiler. Here also C language compiler will be there. Here also C language compiler. Now what it will do, it will create its own format of executable. So then with respect to C language point of view, what it will do, it will create its own format of executable, something extension whatever it is. Now this file will be executed only on Linux operating system, only on Linux operating system. So you cannot execute again on Windows computer as well as Mac OS computer. So why? Because the compiled version is run, the compiled version is compilation is happened on the Linux operating system. So that means it will create only the executable whatever you are having here. This will execute only on Linux operating system. So simply wherever you did on the compilation, there only you can see the output or you can get the things. but remaining point of view, you cannot get it. So that's why they are calling it as platform dependency. So that means as a developer tomorrow, when you written something on the Windows and you are make all this setup on the Windows operating system and compiled versions, and it is working perfectly on the Windows, but all of sudden, or maybe some reason, you want to move your source code, you want to move your C code to other operating system computers, then again what you have to do, guys, you have to do the recompilation process every time based on the operating system. So if now if I'm saying today Mac, then again you have to take all source code, you have to recompile. Again, if I'm saying like Linux, then again you have to start with the recompilation, then you will get, then you have to deploy on the Linux operating system. So that means this is the challenge. You are working on one operating system, and whenever you want to use same thing on the other operating system, you have to come back to a process called as recompilation on the same operating system. You will take the same C language code and you will compile on the Mac operating system, and then it will create its own executable format, and then it will be executed only on the Mac operating system. So similarly, Linux operating system point of view also, you have to recompile and then it will be executed. So this is how C language is going to be platform dependency. So that means it's not a concept of write one. So now Vara principle, is it applicable for Vara? Means write once, run anywhere. So what is the point of this meaning? Just understand now. So what it is trying to say here, it is write once, run anywhere. So the point is, as a Java developer, write your logic only one time, okay, and with less amount of effect, you can execute your program directly on any operating system. So that is what the point here it is. For example, if I, as a Dilip, I worked on the Windows and I have compilation version of the Windows one. Now you are having MacBook. Now I told you, take my executable, take my executable and run on your Mac operating system. It will not work because it is only dependent to that operating system. It will not work on the Mac OS. Then what you will say? No, no, Dilip, give me the source code, give me the actual source code, whatever you written. I will compile on my Mac operating system. Then I will get my own format. Then I will get my own format. Then I can see the output. Like that, you are saying that is how things will happen now in this case. So that is what the point of write once, run anywhere in this concept. Okay, so that means it's not possible in the C language point of view. But when it comes to the Java language, whenever they designed Java language, they identified this problem, what is happening in the C language point of view. Okay, and they are identified some problems in the C++ also. C++ is somewhat we can say like platform dependent, independent only, but there are some challenges in the C++. So what these Java people did, they observed problems in the C language, some of the problems in the C++ language, and they started creating the Java language. So Java language is created by C and C++ languages only, guys. Okay. So they created Java language by using internally C and C++ languages only. They written C language code, C++ code to implement the Java language. Now what these guys are did, they observed the problem of platform dependency in the C language. Now what these guys are done here it is, if I take the same approach again, student dot Java. Okay. Yeah, that is what. When you are doing the compilation result is dependent to only operating system. So this, the compiled unit, that's what. Once just understand this one also, then we'll compare the previous one and second one. Okay. So now what in this case, you will write down your Java language code here. We will compare then we will see. So in this case, you written the Java language code. Now as per our compilation, okay, now assume you are having the Windows operating system, whatever it is. Okay, assume I will take first Windows computer. Assume you are having Windows computer, like yeah, Windows computer we are having, and I installed my Java language, sorry, Java software, nothing but I installed Java software on my Windows system, right? So once you written the source code, what you did the compilation, compilation, compilation. Now, whenever you are doing the compilation, what you did guys, you get the bytecode file. Bytecode file, nothing but dot class file. Bytecode file. So as part of your compilation, what you got, you got the dot class file. Dot class file, which contains bytecode. That is called as bytecode, right? So it is created the dot class file. Now what Java language is claiming here, it is this, whatever the Java as a developer you written source code, so it will be called as source code. Inside Java file, whatever we are writing as a Java developer, it will be called as source code always. A terminology point of view. Whatever the source code we written and whatever you compiled on Windows operating system, for example, right now, immediately it is creating a bytecode. Now what Java language is saying here, it is this bytecode. Now already I told you, let me open that one also once. Yeah. So in this case, what Java language is saying, once the compilation is completed, all the errors are good, then immediately it is creating dot class file. So whenever it is creating the dot class file, I told you, you have to pass that dot class file to the Java runtime environment, nothing but JVM. So internally what it is taking the file name, I mean the dot class file, and it is loading the dot class file, it is reading the bytecode. I told you the content of the dot class will be called as bytecode. Now the JVM reading bytecode of the dot class file, that means that language is understandable by the JVM, the bytecode format. So and then it is started executing and showing the output. Similar point of view, what in this case Java is claiming here, it is the dot class file, whatever you got, now you can take this dot class file and you can give it to the Mac operating system. So that means in your, for example, assume you are having Mac operating system computer. So you install Java language, Java software. See, that is always common. To execute a program, to compile the program, to execute the program, you need always Java software. Now in your Mac operating system, you are having the Java software. Now what I am saying in this case is, I am not asking again to you recompiling the code. I'm not asking. I'm giving you the dot class file. See, ultimately output coming from where? From the dot class file. From the dot class file always output is coming. Dot Java is becoming useless with respect to execution point of view. And the dot class file contains internally bytecode. That bytecode means that code will understandable by the Java language automatically. So then in this case, what it is saying is Java language. Now take this dot class file and from your MacBook, okay, execute Java, so and so file name, you can give whatever the file name you want to give. Automatically in the Mac operating system, whatever the Java software you install, right? Inside that you will get the JRE. I already shown you that in the software point of view also. Even tomorrow when you are installing the same software operating system in your MacBook or Linux machine, there also you will see this java.exe. I mean, see, exe in the sense it's all about Windows operating system point of view. If it is what Mac OS, file extensions will be different, guys. These are all common. I mean, it's not part of Java language knowledge. It's all your computer knowledge. Java software download. See, whenever you are downloading also, generally what will happen? You can see some of the concept like this. Linux, they are calling it as tar.gz. That means nothing but zip. Deb means Debian file, RPM files. It's all about Linux terminology. Linux file operating system, Linux, okay, file extensions, whatever it is, Linux libraries. If you are having Linux machine, Linux system, Linux computer, then you will download out of this one of them to download Java software, to install Java. Similarly, Mac, if you are having MacBook, tomorrow if you are buying a MacBook, what you will do means you will download one of these things, DMG file. That's what DMG I taken here and all, DMG and all. So you will download one of these things to support on the Mac OS. Similarly, Windows point of view, I will download what? .exe or zip file. I mean simply exe file. I can consider as exe. So if it is Windows .exe, if it is Mac OS .dmg, if it is Linux, something like .debian file, .rpm file, something like that, right? So that is what the point of different languages here. Now, whenever your Mac operating system is having JRE, this JRE will understand automatically the dot class file content. And then what it will say, hey, okay, this is bytecode. Let me execute and show you the output. So this is how it will show you the result or output point of view. Now, if I given same, see here, your this dot class file they created somehow, it is compatible to every operating system. I mean, in every operating system, whatever the Java you are installing, inside that you will have, I already told you JRE is nothing but JVM. JVM is part of JRE point of view. So the JVM will understand in this case automatically the bytecode. Now similarly in this case also, if I given same thing to the Linux operating system, now you are having one more laptop or one more system with a Linux operating system. Now in this computer also, you install your Java software. You install your Java software. Now whenever you install Java software, what will happen automatically internally? You will get the JRE. JRE also. Java Runtime Environment as well as JVM. These are all comes when you are installing the Java. Now, whenever I given, see, I'm giving to everyone dot class file, and I given this dot class file, and I asked you, can you execute this dot class file? You will see the output of my logic. Then what you will do? You will simply invoke Java space file. Then again, so in this case, what will happen? Here it is. Again, you will execute same point of view, then again you will get the output. Why? Because in this case JVM is capable of understanding bytecode format. JVM, see here ultimately in every operating system the JVM is automatically understand the bytecode. So and by reading that bytecode it will show you the output. So that is why they are created a dot class file concept in the Java language. If you are going with the Python language, see Python also uh, platform independent only, but Python will be called as directly as a interpreted language. So that means simply I'll give you guys, don't stress too much about all these things. Having little bit knowledge is more enough. Just explore later point of time. See, for example, if I return one line code, okay, then what will happen in this case is the compilation and execution will happen at a time. It will happen at a time. So that means in this case, what will happen when you are writing the .py file, Python program point of view, if you return some logic like, I don't know, probably Python, I'm writing in Java point of view, but assume it's there. Now what it will do whenever you are executing the Python program directly. So you will write .py something like that, student.py or whatever it is, to represent it as a Python. Now what you will do, in this case what Python will do, Python will verify syntax is good or not. If syntax is good, then it will start immediately execution also. So compilation and execution is happening at a time. But in Java point of view, what is happening? It's happening two stages. You are doing compilation first. Okay, from that compilation you are getting the dot class. But in Python point of view, you will not get anything. That is the only source code, that is the only will become executable also. But in Java language point of view, source code is different, executable is different. So in this case, source code is .java file. From that, Java language compiler creating a executable file. That means nothing but dot class file. So now this dot class file you can share it with any operating system. So automatically inside that operating system, your Java software, your JVM will read the bytecode and it will start showing the output. So that is how. Now if you are seeing here, in earlier point of view, C language point of view, whenever you written the source code, whenever you are compiling on the Windows operating system, the executable is created depending on the specific to that operating system. So whatever the compiled version C created internally by the on Windows, the whatever element is created. See, for example, in this case, what I told you, dot class is created and this is platform independent. That is how Java is implemented. See, to overcome C language problem only, they came up with this concept. And that's why they are saying like my language is better than C language. Because in C language, you are having a lot of headaches. You cannot manage your source code directly on multiple operating systems at a time. So for that, you have to do a lot of extra process. Some extra process you have to do. It's not like C language is completely waste, but when comparing with Java, C is definitely fast. Okay, because the reason you can understand. See, specific to operating system. See, when few things are taking time in the sense, definitely sometimes it will give more performance also. Sometimes when few things are making what lesser time, maybe somewhere those will affect somewhat. So that is all. C language is definitely performance wise when comparing with Java language. C language performance is more. If I am taking one logic written in C and Java, definitely C language take take more. I mean, will give more performance. But what is the problem here? It is cross platforms, because nowadays you know that it's not, you cannot say like only Windows operating system I have. So there is no guarantee today you can write on one, you can execute on anywhere else. So that means you have to follow some extra process to make your logic is executable on every operating system. But in Java point of view, this is the one concept. That's why they created some separate extra dot class file. If you are taking Python language and all, you will not have this kind of extra file getting created from the original source code. Whatever you written, that is only compiled, that is only executed. If there is a mistake in that line, it will immediately say like error. If there is no mistake, then it will execute that line only. So but there is no extra file process creation, that is only happening in Java language. Now this dot class file is most important. That is why I explained you yesterday what this concept, what is compilation, what is execution, what is dot class and all, to go before going with the platform independent. Otherwise, you cannot understand what I am saying like Java compiler and all. Now, when it comes to Vara, they are calling it as Vara principle. Vara, they are achieving the Vara, right? Now understand, write once, run anywhere. Write once, run anywhere. So that means now again understand this. Yes, that is what, right? As a Java developer, you are writing code at one time only. You're writing all the source code only at one point of time and .java. After that, what you are doing in either Windows operating system or maybe Linux operating system or Mac OS, whatever it is, what you are doing in this case, you are compiling your Java, and whatever the dot class file is created, that is compatible to, that is understandable by the JVM, and that JVM is installed on any computer that can understand this bytecode. Here JVM will understand the bytecode from Mac OS operating system, from Linux operating system, from Windows operating system. So that's why write once. So that means you are writing only one time Java code on any platform, on any operating system, and running on anywhere. So once you are having the dot class file, you can execute that dot class file on any operating system automatically. But C language point of it is not possible. That's why they are saying like Java is a platform independent. That means as a developer tomorrow, you are all working on the Windows. See, that's what, for example, in my team, I am working on the Windows operating system. Okay, and some of my developers from the US, they are working on the, few people are Windows, few people are having Mac OS operating systems also. But we are working on the Java projects. So that means here what is happening? Whatever the compiled versions, they will compile their programs or maybe our programs or whatever it is. Simply I'm just giving you an awareness. So finally we are getting what? Dot class files. And these dot class files are most important to execute in the runtime level. So finally, dot class is more important in the Java language. Now, if you don't have dot class, you cannot see the output. So that is how Java is designed, and that is why they are saying like write once, run anywhere. You can write on anywhere else, and if you are having dot class file, take that dot class file wherever you want to execute on any operating system computer, you can execute. That is why, that is how they are saying like platform independent as well as with indirectly. I mean, they are saying like write once, run anywhere. This is the advantage of Java language they are exposing into the market. But you have so many platform independent languages, not only Java, like Python, even .NET, all these things also, CPP also. But they are they started comparing with the C language at that time. In 1995 point of time, they made it. And some people will ask you in interviews as a fresher point of view, generally this question will come out to understand what is your knowledge of compilation, what is the knowledge of your execution, what is the difference between .java and .class. These are all things will be covered in one single interview question. That is why they will ask you. It's not like a theory question only, but their understanding is, as a developer, what is your knowledge up to source code and bytecode point of view. So what is your knowledge point of view, they will to test the things. So what you are talking about the compiler or not, when you are doing the compilation, dot class file will be created. Once dot class is created, then JRE coming into the picture, nothing but JVM, Java Virtual Machine from the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. And then that bytecode, the dot class file is taken by the JVM. JVM will execute line by line from the bytecode and it will show the output. So you are using this terminology or not, you are properly understanding or not, to represent that they will ask the questions. Okay, so that is what about the platform independent and platform write once run anywhere point of view. People are talking more and more in everywhere, guys. Okay, so this is the one of the primary advantage of the Java language they are talking, and remaining I'll tell you. Sorry. So if you are taking advantages point of view, Java is a platform independent. Okay, platform dependent is C language, one of the example. And what I will do, second thing is they are saying like object oriented programming language. Yeah, C is not object oriented. C++ is again object oriented programming language only. So people who understand the C++, they can understand Java language easily. So somewhat near to C++ only. But what people who don't know anything about C++, even I don't know C++. Okay, I don't know C also. I directly started learning Java and I got job on Java language, and I still am working on the Java. So I don't know anything about C language and C++ till today. Okay, so why I'm telling you this is just theory point of view, to cover some of the theory point of view. We are just discussing all these things. So in this case, object oriented programming language. So what is object? You don't know, right? Yes. But to understand what is a real object, what is an object oriented in this case, for that first you have to understand the class. Otherwise you cannot understand the object. So that's why this advantage we will understand going by step process. So they are saying like they are having object OOPS principles, object oriented programming principles, object oriented programming principles. Even these principles will also, I cannot explain you right now within 5-10 minutes, because when I am started discussing object oriented programming principles, there is some concepts available. Inheritance, the concept itself will take minimum 3 to 4, 4 to 5 classes, 3 to 4 classes minimum it will take. And abstraction is one more principle they are talking. And then polymorphism, they given names like this. Don't worry by seeing all these names, these are all Java terminology going on, what you will learn one by one. And encapsulation. See, to understand all these four concepts, these are all four principles of the object oriented principles. In our day to day class wise, if to understand all these four concepts, it will take minimum 2 weeks of time. Minimum 2 weeks of time. So that's why I'm telling you, I cannot explain you what is object oriented programming language, what is principles as an advantage point of view right now. It's a ongoing process. So once you are understanding all these principles, then I will say like this is the biggest advantage of Java programming language. These concepts are helping us like in this way. So that's why these are the best advantages of the Java programming language. Like that, I can give you the conclusion once we are discussing in detail about every topic. And after that, they will say like Java is having one more advantage called as multi-threading. Yes. So what is multi-threading also? Threading will take minimum 4 to 5 classes point of view. So then you will understand what is multi-threading and all. So then I can say like this is the one of the biggest advantage of the multi-threading. So even though if I am trying to explain right now, first of all, you don't know anything what is a thread also. So again, so that's why I'm not going to take all this right now. It's all about ongoing summary, ongoing classes summary. So we will see that going on. Okay, so this is all theory point of view they will talk. Now let's start looking into the programming point of view. Now it's all time to start with the Java concepts and understanding how to write down the Java programs. how to write down Java programs. Now we have to start. Okay. Okay. So now, first point. Whenever you want to write down the Java, yesterday I told you first create a Java file. You know that now. Okay, cool. So you will write down first of all, first example I'll take like student.java. Okay, this is a valid file name. Now what is the logic you have to write down inside this? I written something to explain what is compilation execution point of view, but now what I written inside that Java file, what you have to written, what you have to write going further. That is what we are discussing now. What is logic we have to write inside the Java file. So what are the rules and regulations you have to follow now? Yes. Whenever, okay, let me create a Java file first. I'm not opening old one. I'm writing my own right now. Text document. So take student.java. Okay. So what you did, you created a Java file. That's all. But logic you have to write down, right? Yes. Now, how to write down logic in the Java point of view? Okay. Point number one. In Java language, in Java language, we will write logic always by using a concept called as classes. A concept called as classes. So classes are class. Class is single word, classes is plural word. Okay, multiple point of view. So by using in Java language, we will write logic always by using a concept called as class or classes, whatever it is. Okay, so now that means inside our Java program, Java file, we are going to write something, some logic means we have to create a class. We have to create a class first. We have to create a class first. So now the question is, what is class? In Java point of view, what is a class? Why? What is the intention of, what is the idea of class in Java language point of view? We have to understand. So that's what, if you see my old program, I mean, whatever we written day before yesterday, something like that, the first line itself, we written something like public class. So this is what the class I am talking about. I will introduce what is class, what and all point of view. So, okay, my information, something I written. So this is the class. I defined a class. So that is what I'm trying to talking now. So now it's an empty Java file. To write something, I told you, we have to define a public class, something like I'll told you student, I given something like, but what is a class here it is? Why, what is the point of we are writing class? What is the concept of class in Java language? First, we should understand that. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll save it. Okay. So what is a class here? Let's try to understand. Now, generally, leave about the Java for some time. I'll take our real life examples. Generally, what we will follow in our real life point of view. See, for example, tomorrow you want to start a car business. I mean, you want to start a car manufacturing business in the sense car manufacturing. So you are having a lot of amount and we are trying to, you are having a lot of knowledge in the cars or whatever it is, and you want to start a car manufacturing plant. And you want to start so and so business, I mean so and so brand also, whatever the brand it is. Okay, so whatever it is you want to start it, ABC brand, whatever it is. Now in this case what you will do guys, first of all you will try to launch a car. So what is your idea in the sense launching a car? That is what your idea. So it will, the launching a car is an as an your idea. It's not only car, maybe tomorrow if you want to create a laptop, you want to start a laptop business, you want to manufacture a laptop, it's all about manufacturing, creating. Okay, or some kind of mobile, you want to start a mobile brand, you want to create mobile phones with some brand, whatever it is. Okay, so think such a way. Mobiles, shoes, whatever it is, laptops, systems, maybe whatever speakers, whatever you can take, mobiles, watches, whatever it is. Generally, it's all I'm calling it as products, right? Car is a product, laptop is a product, mobile is a product, speaker is a product, something like that. Okay. Whenever you want to create some product, generally what will happen? For example, now let's take car point of view only. It's a somewhat big product. It will take some longer time. What you will do? The day one itself, can we start buying or yeah, buying whatever it is, raw material, and then we will start assembly. Day one itself, maybe your plant, you thought the business and you made some infrastructure is ready, some sheds or whatever it is. Do you think on the day one itself, sorry guys, can we start buying raw material and then we will start assembling the all core things? Is it right? No, right? Is it this is what you will follow? Tell me with your just that's what I told you. In the day one, day two, day three itself, I told you when you are learning programming language, don't look like as a something you are learning from the outside of the world. Okay? No. The languages is nothing but an idea. An idea, always ideas comes from the real life, from the our surrounding things only. So that's why just concentrate, learn the topic. I'm telling you one more time also. I'll try to simplify the language and those topics really and ideas came from the real life of human beings only. Don't think like they are created from the outside of the world, from the space they are invented all these topics. No, it's not. It's all simply as a developer they understood some of the concepts from the real life, and based on by taking an idea from that concepts they started implemented the programming languages like that. So like that, so even when you are learning something also, if I given a concept name tomorrow, whatever it is, you also think like this concept is comparable to what is the situation in our real life. Okay, for example, right now I given you inheritance, one of the biggest object oriented principle are most important. There you will have a concept called as child class versus, I mean, I'm just telling you, parent class. This is the only concept of the entire inheritance. So in this case, why they given terminology as child class as parent class in the sense there is a formula here. I mean I'm just giving you heads up right now itself. Don't feel day one onwards like difficult. You are learning something else. So now in this case they given you a principle like this. Child class can access. That is what class we are learning now. Okay, child class can access parent class properties. Parent class properties. This is the principle they given as part of the inheritance. That is the only overall concept I will discuss 3 to 4 days. Okay. So now child class can access parent class properties. That means child class logic can access parent class logic. That is the point here it is. But if you are comparing this with our real life, I am the child for my father. So Dilip can access as a Dilip as a child to my father. Dilip can access okay Dilip father properties. This is real, right? Generally, as a child you can access your father properties, you can access directly your father properties, right? So that is how child versus parent classes point of view are having a relationship, and they are calling with that name called as inheritance. That is what in our real life also, right? A child can access his parent properties, a child can access his parent car, his parent house. Who is having that responsibility? Who is having? Only his child, only his child. So like so like that, things, ideas came from the real life scenarios only. It's not somewhere else. You will see that at that time. Okay, you will see at that time. Now, I'll just give you one more heads up. A is child of B, and B is child of C. Now, I mean, in your exams or somewhere you will see, right? What is the relationship between A and C? What is the relationship between A and C? Can anyone of you answer? A is child of B. So that means A's father is B. And similarly, B's father is C. That means then what A will become? Son or grandson? Grandchild or grandson, yes. Whatever it is. Grandchild or grandson, whatever it is. Grandchild or grandson, whatever it is. Okay, right? Correct. Right? So then A is a kid to the for the B point of view, and B is a kid for the C point of view. Finally, A will become child or grandson to the C point of view. Right? Now, in this case, I will ask you one more point. A, see, think as for your family only. Okay. Now, A is accessing B and C properties. This is what you are doing in your real life or not? For example, your grandfather said, I will not give my properties to you. Then what you will do? You will go to the court. This is the general thing. A grandparent, I mean, grandchild can access father properties as well as grandparent properties. That is the real life, right? So this is what. Now A can access what? B and C properties. Why? A father is B, C is grandfather. So that's why you are eligible. You are eligible to access all the properties. Right? This is our real life scenario. Because A is B's child and B is C child. That's why as a point of view, you can access your own father properties and you can access your grandfather properties also. That is what happening in your real life, right? When your grandfather is there, you are eligible for your grandfather properties as well as your father properties also. Similarly, tomorrow when I am talking about multi-level inheritance, there is a concept called as multi-level inheritance. A is child class, parent class, B is child class, C is child class. I'll give relationship like this. So that means I'm just telling you, C is a child, C can access B properties. B is a child for A, so that means B can access A properties. So in such case, C can access A properties also. That is what C is a child, grandson, B is father, and A is also B's father. So multi-level inheritance. So that means understand this is how things are came into the programming languages also. Why I am telling is that is what I'm just creating you an awareness, like don't think too much like you are learning something else out of the world. You are just learning things with respect to Java language programmatical point of view, and the concepts whatever they brought into Java language by the Java team. It's all from our surrounding areas only. And from the concepts, the idea behind a concept is always from our real life situations only. That is what the point I would like to say here it is. Okay. So see here now. Now in this case, class point of view, what we will not do everything directly on the day one. So for that, you will first go with the design part. So what is the design part? You will first make sure how, what are the features you have to maintain as part of your car. What are the features? So that means what are the features your car should have, whether it is a 5-seater car or whether it is a 7-seater car. So like that, you have to make sure all these things. You will decide all these things, 5-seater car or 7-seater car, and how many colors you would like to produce your car. Same. Okay, once your car is manufacturing is completed, how many colors you want to release into the market, and what is your car height, what is your car width, right? And what is the okay top speed you want to maintain as part of that car. So what is the engine you want to use? So you will do what? You are collecting all the information. You are defining all the information as part of your design and all. So then based on that, what you will do, you will start making some designs, and you will start making all the things are ready. You will start all the things are ready, and slowly what you will do, you will start providing in the implementation. So once your analysis, your design, everything is completed, implementation in the sense, it's all about you are starting the integration, nothing but assembling. So based on your, so it will take generally lot of time. You are making all groundwork in this case, and you are making assembling, right? So similarly, laptop point of view also, you will have some plans. What are the colors? What is the size? What is the screen size? Whether it is a touch screen or not, something like that. So then you will start assembling point of view and all. Okay, assembling point of view and all, you will do that. So now once you are doing that, what will happen? Finally, your entire car design is ready. Yeah. So assume you felt like you would like to create a car like this. Yeah, your car design showing like this. So in this case, what? I mean, it's not before going with the implementation and integration and all, you decided like let's make our car like this much height, this much size, this is the window size, like that. You will make all the things ready, okay, and you will start what? Start creating the car. So once everything is finalized and once you are good with every detail, everything is ready, then what you will do, guys? You will start for this entire process, whatever you spent time like 6 months, 7 months, or 1 year, or whatever it is, for this entire process point of view, how many cars you will create it? By using that, you are having one overall final design and implementation. You made final design and details. Whatever you spent time from last 1 year, 7 8 months, analysis, R&D, whatever it is, finally you are having a plan. You are ready with your prototype. You are ready with your prototype. And now by using that prototype, how many cars we will create? Is it only one? So are we created only one car? So no, right? By using the same prototype, now I created 10 lakh cars, 1 million cars. 1 million means 10 lakh, 1 million cars. So now if I am taking this 1 million cars, 1 million cars, okay. So now what has happened in this case? By using same design, ideas, details, same engine, or whatever it is, you based on that, assume you created these many cars. Different colors, different fee, okay, different colors. Colors are changing. But do you think in the same car point of view, red color will have one size, red color car will have one size, green color car will have one more size, and red color will have five seater, green color will have seven seater. Do you think like that cars are existed? No, right? Generally, whatever the only thing is, ultimately the real car is same when comparing with each and every car out of all these 1 million car. Only thing is, you are making some difference with respect to colors, some styling point of view. So some characters are some, it's not behavioral change. So your car behavior is same with respect to all the cars. Behavior is always same. But when it comes to the identity point of view, little bit will change. For example, I brought red color car and my friend brought green color car. So what will happen in this case? Dilip car will also go same speed. I mean, it will act as same. Even my friend car, my friend car also will act as same. Only thing is, I'll say my car, for example, I'll say like my car is a green color, red color car, and my car is having some stickering, and my friend will say like my car is having green color. So identity point of view, this is a red color car, this is a green color point of view. But behavior point of view, the same cars, behavior is same behavior, same behavior, right? Like that. So, I mean, I'll come back to the point. It's not like that, simply just taken like that. Now, in this overall point of view, what I'm trying to say here it is, you made some planning, you made some design, you made some implementation. And from that implementation, your overall your design is finalized and all. Then what you are doing in this case? Okay, so then what is happening in this case is by using the design, you created 1 million cars. After that, your stock is gone. Again, you will create one more million cars. So that means how these cars are created from this design only, right? From this design only. You are having one design, one implementation, and you spent a lot of time for that. And based on that, you created all your products. You are manufacturing all the products. So one design, one plan, and from that, you created millions of cars, more than one car, right? Whether it is a one car or more than one car, millions of cars you created. Similarly, in Java point of view also, when it comes to the class, let me save it first, day 7. Yeah, so when it comes to the Java point of view also, I'll give you a statement now, then we'll see discussion. In Java, class is an implementation to create an object. Class is a, or else I can write down one more statement also. Class is a prototype for creating an object. Class will have an implementation to create an object. So that means ultimate goal is what? What you are trying to understand here. To for creation of an object, first class should be there. In Java, Java is called as object oriented programming language. So that is the object they are talking here it is. So to understand the object, to create object, first thing is what we have to do. We need always a class. We need always a class. So class is a prototype for creating an object, as well as class will have an implementation to create an object. So that means by using class, so what is the conclusion we are having? Without class, can we create an object? Can we create an object? No. In Java language point of view, I'm talking. Without class, can we create an object means no. Because to create object, first you need a class. And inside that class, you will write some logic, implementation in the sense logic. So some details. Okay. So what are the details? That object contains what and all. That information you will provide inside the class as a Java language format point of view. So that means now if I'm going to this diagram, this is all coming under the phase called as implementation. So you are providing logic, you are providing details, how car should function, what is how many gears, when you are applying the brake, what should happen. Okay, when you are applying the accelerator, how much speed it has to increase, at what time it has to alert the high speed, some beep sound on after crossing 100 200 speed. So you are making all the things ready as part of your implementation stage, design and implementation. You are designing and you are making details, all these things as part of your in this stage level. And from that implementation, once everything is good, then what you are doing by following all these approaches, all this implementation, all this logic, all these details, what you are doing is you are creating the cars. Now in this case, one implementation you are having, one implementation you are having, one plan you are having But from by using that one implementation, you are creating many products. Sorry. Yeah. So by using that one implementation, you are making multiple products are getting created. Whether you can create only one car, you can create more than one car also. But out of all these cars, out to create all these 1 million cars, more than one car, the idea, the design, the details are always followed by this implementation. So that means in this case, I'll call this one as a class. If I'm comparing with the Java point of view, I can call this entire phase as a class. I can call this entire phase as a class. And I can call this entire, the final, okay, from that class, from that implementation, from that details, whatever you created, okay, and I'm calling it as an object. For example, single car means single object. Single object. Now, if I'm having 1 million cards, but created from the same implementation, whatever I did, right? So in this case, 1 million objects, 1 million objects point of view, I can call it as. So that means, now what is the one more point you have to understand here? By using one class, we are going to create, objects. So why I am using a word called as objects, plural word in the sense more than one. So it's up to your choice. You can create one object or you can create multiple objects also. And in Java, Java is called as object oriented programming language. So that means your entire Java program real execution will always happens via by using objects only. So but to create objects, you need class. So inside class, what you will provide? You will provide all the details, how your object should behave. What is the identity of your object? What is the details of your object? And how your object should execute. I mean, what is the behavior of your object? How your object should function? How it has to be behave like that. For example, if you take in the same example, in this case, what you provided all the details, max speed, you spent, I mean, for example, assume your engine is going your car engine is may go more than 300 kilometer per hour speed, but somehow you want to restrict it until 200 speed only. Yes, you can do that. Somehow you are making like, okay, max speed I will allow only 200 kilometer per per hour, so max speed. So like that you are making some functionalities. You are keep on giving a warning sound once it is crossing 120. So you are implemented that functionality. So once it is the speed is crossed at 120, the keep on warning sound is coming. So why you implemented like that? You implemented all those details. Now in this 10,000 cars, what will happen? I mean 1 million cars, same behavioral approach. So whatever the car you are taking and whenever you are crossing 120, same beep sound will come. Because this 10,000 cars, sorry, 1 million cars or 1 million objects are followed same implementation, same details. So that means by using one class, you can create multiple objects going further. Whether you can create only one object or multiple objects. And Java is object oriented in the sense, yes, the entire Java language, I mean, the concepts of Java language are the, if you want to enjoy the features of Java language, everything at the runtime level, okay, at the execution time. Runtime means execution. I already told you. Execution. So to see the output, to see the result, you will always execute or you will always run the Java logic, right? So it's all about object driven. So that means you will write down the Java classes and the Java classes will contain all the logic, and that logic, for that logic to execute that logic, I mean that logic will define how your object should behave. So that logic, that class details and logic will define how your object should has to be behave. And based on that, once everything class implementation is created, then object, you will create an object for that class. Then object will behave based on the implementation what you provided inside the class. So it's not like, for example, in this case, now I taken one of the car and I started driving and my car is going 500 kilometer per hour. I said like this. Anyone will trust? No one will trust. Why? because you are having knowledge about this. You are saying like your class details itself telling they are allowing a maximum 200 kilometer per hour. But I mean, you are saying and you are claiming like my car, my object is going up to 500 kilometers. It's not right because you are not defined logic like that. So, as per the rules and regulations and circumstances, what you provided inside the design and implementation level, I mean, in the details level, based on that only your object will behave. It's not, for example, 120 level, you are giving continuous warning sound. You are going over speed like that. Yes, out of all these 1 million cars, will give same at exactly at 120 level, it will start beeping the sound. I mean, it will start producing the sound. Why? Because you written like that. You implemented, you designed your car like that based on the some rules and regulations. So every car will do same thing. It's not like will one car will give continuous beep at 90 speed, one car at 120, one car at 200. No, it's not like that. By default, every object, every car, every car will follow as per the details, as per the logic, as whatever you provided in this space. Based on that only your object will behave. Your object will behave. So that is how in Java language point of view also there is a the relationship will happen in between class and object. So that means to understand the object, first you should know the class. And once you are knowing the class, you should know how object is behaving. So based on the class implementation only, your object is behaving. Now I'll ask you one more question before winding this session, before closing this session. In our real life, what is object, guys? Leave about Java. What is object in our real life point of view? We will use this terminology, right? Leave about Java, leave about programming language. Generally, where you will see a word called as object in our real life point of view. In movies also we will see, or in our real life also we will use. What is an object? Anyone from here? Right? So simple. Yeah, an object which occupies some space, an object which is some a real time product. So that means now I can call my mobile phone. Yes, it's an object. It is holding some space. It is having some physical existence. Right? In general point of view, I'm saying it is having some physical existence. It is having some space. It is occupying some space. My car also, real car. Okay, my laptop. Yes, I can touch my laptop. I can. It's an object. So my laptop, my okay. Even I can call my car bus. Bus is an object. Mouse is an object. Computer is an object. Okay. So you human itself an object. You are also an object. You are also having some okay some kind of behavior, some kind of existence in this ground, in this world, right? So I can tell. So that is what everything is an object in this world. So whatever is having some physical existence, whatever is you are able to operate it, you are able to touch it or whatever it is, generally we'll call it as object. So that means object means a real thing what is presented in your real life and which is doing some activity, which is also doing some kind of activity, or whether it is doing activity or not, that's a different story. Few objects will do some behaviors, few objects, for example, stone is also an object, but stone will not move from one place to another place. Human is also an object. Human can move one place to another place. So like that. So but ultimately these are all things we are calling as objects, right? So that is what in Java point of view also, what they are, why they given their name called as object. Here it is, their intention is once your logic source details how everything has to be, it's all about before making real activity, real execution, you are making all the things ready as part of the class, and by using those things what you implemented in the class, you will create an object, and by using that object you will drive your logic execution. So that means in Java, by using object, we will start executing or driving in the sense, not that driving, okay, logic execution, driving execution flow, logic execution flow, logic execution flow. By using object, you will do that. Whatever the logic you implemented inside the class, to execute that logic, you will need always object. Once you created an object, you will start executing the logic of your Java class. Okay, and you will control the execution flow. You will okay everything by using object. That's why Java is called as object oriented. You will do everything via object oriented point of view. You will do always via object oriented programming language point of view. Okay, so this is the overall idea behind class and object. So tomorrow what we will do, now I will explain you tomorrow as a Java program point of view, what why you are taking the student, what is the reason behind student. Yes, as a student, student will have some ID, student will have student name, student will have some behavior. Car, if you take in car, public class car will have some behavior, car will have some identities. So I'll come back to those details tomorrow. So this is all about introduction to the class and object. So what are these are all points you have to remember, guys. Tomorrow, now I'll ask you one overall final question before closing the session. So for example, I have one student class. Tomorrow I'll write down the student class. I'll write student class, one Java class. Okay. Now tell me how many objects can I create for one single Java class? Can any one of you tell me? How many objects can I create for that student class? No limit. Yes, exactly. More than one. Simply more than one. So that is how, yes, many. Simply I'll give many. Many means more than one. So that is how you have to understand the concepts. Yes. Even in here also, with respect to car manufacturing also, they are also doing same thing. They spent lot of time, 1 year time to came up with all the ideas how car should function, at what time what and all things will happen, how infotainment system should display, how warning should display, how that speedometer should display digitally or whatever it is. They made all the things as part of the implementation. Once everything is ready, they are not created only one car, they are created millions of cars. One implementation, multiple objects, single class, multiple objects. So in Java also same thing. Tomorrow, once you written one single Java class, for one class, you will create many objects. But every object will follows this class implementation only. So we will see that programmatically tomorrow. So that means tomorrow we will complete the student class. And when you are writing the Java class, when you are writing the logic as part of the Java programming language, what are the rules and regulations you have to follow? Like what is this curly braces and all? I'll try to explain you tomorrow. Okay, so your programming is starting now. Tomorrow, probably I'll give you some assignment also. I'll try to give some point of what is main method and all, and we will see. Now, almost your programming is started now. Now, the entire theory is completed, guys. You are entering into the real Java concepts. Now, your programming is already started. Don't think like you are in the theory, you are in the demo sessions. Those are all completed. You started with your programming. So, from tomorrow onwards, every day you will do programming. We will discuss everything programming point of view only. Okay. Yeah, thanks to everyone, and let's connect on tomorrow on same time again. And if anyone, for example, on, okay, I already told you, right? So registered people, don't worry, you can reach out us on directly, and we will give you all the details. If anyone online people, YouTube people, if they want to access this running notes and these images, only we are sharing with those things with the people, so you can scan this scanner also. Anyone, okay, we will approve that. It will open some form, fill that form, and then we will approve it, and you will get access to our these images whatever I am explaining here, especially these images, these running notes, and we are providing you. Okay, so just if you anyone is interested, just scan this form and get the things accessible. Okay. Okay, guys, so thanks to everyone. Let's connect on tomorrow, and if you are having any doubts also, we will discuss tomorrow also, no problem.